Good morning or afternoon, depending on when you're streaming this. My name is Mr. Nordoff, and I'm the grade 11 counselor here at Cathedral. And I'm just going to take a few minutes of your time to review your option sheets for next year. So Mr. Bucco is just going to be putting information sheet online, and I'm just going to be following it as we go along there. Okay? First and foremost, as usual, the option sheets will be due on March 22nd, and it'll be $40 registration fee. That will only be available on Cash Online this year. So obviously this year is the most important year for selecting your classes, as the classes you'll be selecting at this time will be getting you into, hopefully getting into college or university. So that's why it's very important. You should have been doing the research already, but if you haven't, you still have some time. That's why you should be reviewing your credit counseling sheet. So it's on this sheet. When you go onto your MyPath account, it'll tell you, it'll have the graduation requirements, information, how many you need 30 credits to graduate, the literacy test, which I'll talk about in a minute, and also your community hours, which is 40. Okay, as far as the literacy test goes, I know there's been some disruptions to this, but we just received information from Mrs. Ottolino that for the grade 11s, you will be writing this component in the spring. So if it's a little bit scaled back version. Again, Mrs. Ottolino is just getting the information as we're coming on air today. So she said, if you have any questions, feel free to contact her. So what's going to happen is in the springtime, you will be writing the literacy test. If you pass the literacy test, then you will fulfill that requirement. If you do not panic. You have an opportunity to take the OLC course in the summer or in your timetable next semester. Again, so if you happen to pass it, that's great news, but if you don't, it's not the end of the world. You'll just have to take the class, whether it be in summer school or next year. All right? So in grade 12, you have a lot of options. There's only two mandatory classes that you do have to take. Obviously, English is one of them, and the other is religion. And as far as the religion goes, for a lot of the students that are university-bound, sometimes students tend to take the open religion. I'd recommend, if you're a strong student in the university-bound religion, take that course as well, because what happens is you will need 6 courses to gain acceptance into university. If you have to take the religion, you might as well take the M as well, instead of taking the other open. That means you'd have to take another grade 12 class, okay? A lot of kids will ask, can I have a spare in grade 12? Yes, you can. Students, there are some requirements though. Students, if you have 23 credits or more, you are eligible for a spare. Also for the French immersion students, you will have to take naturally your French immersion, and the religion is as well, okay? And another couple of courses that I do recommend is co-op is an excellent idea for you. If you think you want a career, whether it be in nursing or auto mechanics, you may think this is a great opportunity for you, but you've never had any hands-on experience. So instead of investing in the education first, I recommend you ask for a co-op placement to see if you actually like that. Also, a lot of students are in the Specialist High Skills Major program. Co-op is a requirement for that as well, so you might have to put that on your timetable. And please keep in mind that is 2 credits, so that'll count as 2 elective components. Also, how can I stay on track to, how can I graduate on time? This is mainly for students if you have fallen behind. Again, if you do the math, you're allowed to fail 1 or 2 credits to still be on track. But for sometimes there's a reason, well, maybe the last year hasn't gone so successful with all the challenges that we've been going through. There's also opportunities for you to make up classes. For instance, summer school is an excellent opportunity for you to get caught up. Also, there is night school. It's another opportunity for you. And also in grade 12, usually we have a course that's provided by Mohawk College. It's after school in spring times, which allows you to earn 1 credit or 2 credits, which will help you boost up your accumulation there as well. Those are something that Mr. Felice looks after. And again, I can't emphasize enough how much you have to pay attention to the announcements, and especially, well, it's hard to miss these days because Mr. Bucco is always streaming things online as well. If you have any questions, obviously come see us in guidance. That's why we're there. A lot of students decide whether or not, geez, at the last minute, they might want to decide to go into university. Well, if you go into university, that's fine, but you have to keep in mind that you'll require 6 university credits to get there. Now, if you've been taking college all the way through, is it a possibility for you to get to university? Obviously it is, but you're going to have to backtrack a bit. When you're backtracking, that means you'll just have to take the university class. For instance, if you have grade 11 college English, well, you can't take the grade 12 without the grade 11 university. You'll have to backtrack and take that. Speaking of prerequisites, I can't emphasize enough to you how much you have to pay attention to the classes that are required to take the grade 12 ones. So if you don't have the grade 11, we'll be tracking you down, and unfortunately we'll have to take you out of that class. So please pay attention to that, which leads me into doing the research for college and universities, all right? They have specific requirements. Right now, I know a lot of kids are looking into that. You can see what classes they require, because some of the classes, every college and every university is going to require English. In college, it will be an English 4C class, university English 4U. But depending on your program, and this is where your research comes into play, they might require you to have a couple sciences. They might require you to have a couple math classes. That's why you got to do your research now, because nothing's worse than next year realizing that you need a couple prerequisites and you don't have them at that time. So please, again, do your research now. All this information is online. The universities have it there. If you have any questions about that, again, feel free to contact me. Students will ask questions about universities and colleges accepting upgraded marks. Most of them do. However, things are changing every year. Sometimes certain colleges and university only might allow you to upgrade 2 classes or 1 class. Each university and college is different. That's why it's very important for you to track down the information and see if you're on track, okay? Also, in years past, we've had colleges and universities come to us for presentations. It's a great opportunity for you. Cross our fingers. Hopefully next year we'll be back on track with that. If not, you're not missing a beat though. Everything is available online. You can contact the universities and colleges. I always tell the students, the colleges and universities, they want your money, so if you email them a question, they're going to get back to you as soon as possible. All right? Other than that, we're going to go down to the common mistakes that students make when filling out their option sheets. The first one being students do not have a prerequisite for the course. Sometimes you think you'll be able to pass, pull a fast one on us. We get a printout of the students that have not earned that prerequisite, and it's sort of a bad thing because it might take us a day or 2 or maybe 3 or 4 days to find you. Then we have to take you out of that class, right? So you're already behind in another one, so please don't do that. If you don't have the prerequisite, please come and see us. Also, students may have already passed this class and they're taking another one. A lot of students like to do that because they want to try and get a better mark, which is fine, but please keep in mind you will not receive another credit. So if a student wants to boost up their English 4U class and they take it a second time, by all means you can do that. The only thing you get out of that though is you keep the higher mark. Also, changing streams. When you're changing streams, like I said earlier, sometimes there's a transfer course or just a prerequisite. So you'll have to backtrack and take the grade 11 university class to move forward, okay? Again, students, we have deadlines all the time. Students must hand their option sheets in on time. Can we accommodate you after the fact? Most times we can, but you have to understand, with grade 12s, a lot of your classes that you're taking are only offered once, sometimes twice. So if you're late getting an in, when we're planning next year's classes, we might not create another class because you didn't hand it in on time. So please, hand it in on time. That way we can try and accommodate you the best. Also, if you change your mind in the summertime, by all means, I'm not expecting you to have your life planned out, but when you're planning and you might change it, try and set up an appointment with us as soon as possible. A lot of kids these days don't feel comfortable coming in the office. That's fine. A lot of students are emailing me, which is fine. I can track them at home and at school as well. So feel free to email me, or if you want to speak in person, by all means you can do that as well. You just have to email me. We can set up the appointment on the Cathedral site. Then we can set up a time for you to come and see me. Other than that, I think that's all we have. Please get your information in on time. And if you have any questions, feel free to contact me in guidance. Thanks.